I'm Wendy and I'm a qualified baker at Beechworth Bakery.
And I'm Michael and I'm the production manager at Beechworth Bakery. At Choux.
Yeah.
So today what we're going to do is we're going to run through how to make choux out of the trusty Beechworth Bakery cookbook. And we'll start.
Okay, so we need to start with a saucepan on a hot plate. And we need to add 1 cup of water.
Which I have in this jug right here. So I need to turn this on.
No. 1 cup of water and half a cup of butter.
So we just need to boil that down, melt it down, sorry, and get it down to a rolling boil.
As soon as it starts boiling, we need to take it off the heat because we don't want to evaporate, because that's the measured amount and that's how much we need, and we don't want to lose any.
So as you can see, the butter's starting to melt down now. You want to fix straight there? Yep. Now we've already pre-weighed our ingredients, so we've got 1 cup of sieved flour here. We're just sieving the flour to get all the clumps out so we don't have clumpy choux. So what we're going to make, out of the book, we've got Eclairs, but we're going to make little swans as well, because swans are cute. And Wendy makes some good swans.
Okay, it's just, the butter's just melted, so now we've just got to wait for it to start to bubble.
And then as soon as it hits that rolling boil, straight off the heat, and you're adding your sieved flour. And as Wendy said, we don't want to boil it for too long because we don't want to evaporate. So that's definitely coming to the boil now. We're going to take it off the heat, add our 1 cup of sieved flour, and we're going to mix that into a roux. So as you see, it's starting to come together now. And you just want to keep mixing it until it falls off the sides by itself. So you might want to really get in there. And you want to mix it so you're getting all the clumps out, because you don't want clumpy choux. You'll end up with raw parts through it, and it's not very nice. As you can, oh yeah, no you go.
It's nice and smooth and it's not sticking to the sides or the bottom. That's how we want it.
And as you can see also, we've got all our flour clumps out of it, so there's no white little dobs through there.
And it's started to cook the flour just a little bit as well.
So what we're going to do now, we're going to put it into a bowl. And we're just going to let that rest for 5 to 10 minutes. It's just got to cool down, because when we add our 3 eggs, we don't want it to be so hot that it cooks the eggs. So we'll just let that rest for a bit. Okay, so we're back. It's been about 10 minutes. So our roux has now cooled down to room temperature, which is what we want, because we don't want to cook the eggs once we start mixing them in. So if you want to begin the mixing process.
Okay, so we just use, I found it best to use the dough hooks on your mixer rather than the other hooks. It just seems to work a bit better.
It's almost as loud as Wendy.
So add the first egg and give it a good mix in.
What we might do,
Work down the side.
doesn't quite incorporate too well using that, so we'll just finish it off with the hand. So you want it to be a real nice smooth paste.
And nice and shiny. It's nice and shiny is good too.
So as you can see now, that's a paste, and that's where we want it to be. So Wendy, you hold open the bag for me.
Yeah, so just got a bag with, I think this is a 20 centimetre, no, that's right. Something.
2 centimetre nozzle.
2 centimetre nozzle.
Divide 20 by 10 and we're close. So we're going to put most of it into the big bag. But we just want to keep a little bit left over because when we make our swans, we're going to do the body with the big nozzle, but you want a little bit left over just so you can do the necks and the head of the swan with the little bag. So we've got a smaller bag for our heads. As you can see, I've cut the end a tiny bit because the necks, we all know the necks of the swans are pretty skinny compared to their body. Yeah, that'd be good. Nice.
A little trick if you're doing this by yourself.
Don't do it by yourself.
No, pass me the jug. Easy, you can sit your bag over the jug, and then you can do it without having to have someone hold it for you.
That is good.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we'll try and do that. So once we've got our bags prepped and we're ready to start piping, we've got a baking tray here. So also, if you're doing it at home, it's probably best just to lightly spray a baking tray with canola oil so that it doesn't stick.
Or water.
Yep.
Water, that's what it actually says in the book, I think, to spray with water.
Well, there you go.
We can do that.
And we've already got our oven set to 220, so we're ready to go. Once Wendy sprays it with water.
So just a little spray of water. That might have a bit of steam and help the choux pastry rise. We've got a little bit of steam in there too.
Oh, all good.
Yep.
Thank you. So we're going to start with our Eclairs and then we'll finish off with our swan bodies. You don't want them to be too big, otherwise the choux won't bake out properly and they'll be raw in the middle and crisp and dark on the outside.
Nice and slow, like Chappy's doing, because then you can get it nice and even too. If you do it too quick, you might have a thick bit and a thin bit.
Now we'll do our swan bodies,
which is just like a cream puff, really. But you can also do with this recipe.
When you can do our swan heads.
Do a couple more just so we can pick out the best one. We should get some good ones out of that.
We should.
Hopefully.
So we're going to take it over to our oven that's already preheated to 220 degrees.
So that's going to bake for 10 minutes. And then we're going to reduce the temperature to 180 for another 20-25 minutes.
Okay, so we're back again. It's been half an hour. These have been in the oven. And then we're now ready to decorate. We've let them cool down a little bit, of course. Did you bring a knife?
No.
Ha!
I better find it.
Wait, we'll get the knife. So we're going to let Wendy do the swans, and I'll do the Eclairs, but we better start with the Eclairs because we've melted some chocolate, and we should probably do them up before it sets. We good?
And you can just leave them just with chocolate, or you can decorate them a little bit more with a bit of grated chocolate on top too. Or you can decorate them with whatever you like.
Whatever you fancy, really.
Yep.
You know, decorate to your taste.
While that sets, I'll start the swan. So you've got your round one here. We just cut that in half. And then with the top half, if it comes off, we cut in half lengthways.
Do you want me to cut them while you decorate?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. So then we can fill them with either also add a little bit more, bit of cream as well. But you can fill these with whatever you like. Now I always get this the wrong way. So the tops you just put back in as the wings, and then pop on the head.
You got a cute swan.
I didn't get the icing sugar.
That's alright.
Then you can just dust with a bit of icing sugar. So you can just do custard. That's the top.
You know, decorate the tops however you'd like. You can drizzle them with chocolate. You can dip them in chocolate before you cut them.
And even use some of our grated chocolate here and sprinkle.
They do. See, I told you make a good cute swan. So we're going to cut the eclair in half. And I'll take the cream. Just pipe a bit of cream in the middle. Chuck that on top. And Wendy wants it. No, she doesn't. But, yeah, they look really good. They're really yummy. Great dessert to have.
Yep, so we can also do a Bavarian cream ring like we sell in the shop, which is just, you do it like a donut shape and then filled with custard and then cream, and that's got like a white icing on top.
Yep.
You could do anything really with choux pastry. If you watch MasterChef, the lady that won MasterChef, she calls herself the choux queen, but
Wendy's the real
I
choux.
think I could give her a run for money.
I can tell you Wendy pipes at least 1,000 eclairs a week, so I believe she's the choux queen.